First substitute, House Bill 390, Veterans PTSD Clinical Research Amendments by Representative Daley Provo. This bill is heard in Health and Human Services with a vote of 10-0-4.
Representative Daley Provo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm really excited today to present House Bill 390, Veterans PTSD Treatment Amendments. This is a piece of legislation that is crafted off of some legislation in other states, but is enhanced by the expertise and creativity of the way we do things here in Utah. So HB 390 creates a clinical study on the safety and feasibility of psychedelic treatments for treatment-resistant PTSD in our veteran population. It is a very tightly controlled study that will be conducted at Huntsman Mental Health Institute, adhering to very strict protocols that already exist as per the FDA, the DEA, and the University of Utah Institutional Review Boards. Colleagues, the reason for this bill are why we're here today to discuss this. Utah has an extremely high catchment of veterans in the state of Utah, and we are very proud of our veterans. We know, however, that we're failing them. Veteran suicide in the state of Utah is over double the national rate. We know that over 44 veterans die every day from suicide in our nation, which is far higher than the number of individuals we lose even in combat. So the questions that I want to answer for you today: why Utah? We have a very large, highly engaged veteran population. As I said, we have disproportionately high suicide rates among our veteran population. We have world-class academic infrastructure here in the state of Utah, particularly with the benefit of having the Huntsman Mental Health Institute here in the state of Utah. We have demonstrated capacity for ethical, responsible, and accountable research. Why now? The reality for mental health crises in our nation and in our world is that we are experiencing as a population an increased mental health crisis. And of course, in our veteran population, that is particularly acute. Unfortunately, we haven't seen the medical advancements in this area that we really need. And this bill provides an opportunity to answer some of those questions as to why. We also know that this is a treatment that people can seek if they leave the country, which is unfortunate because we don't want our veterans to have to leave the country as a last resort to save their own lives, keep their own families intact, to rejoin society in meaningful, fulfilling ways. And so if we can be responsible about how we implement this, which is the goal in this bill, we can bring that care here in a tightly controlled, careful setting. But the benefit of it over any other option is that it is layered and includes very careful therapy that happens concurrently with the administration of the medication in a tightly controlled, careful clinical setting. The science right now on psychedelic research is at an inflection point, and good work is being done in other states, but we think that we can do it better here in the state of Utah, which is why we're looking at funding and creating this program right here at the Huntsman Mental Health Institute. This does build on past legislation that has been done, that has been passed by this body that seeks to explore psychedelics as a treatment option. But unfortunately, past legislation left some gaps, and so we haven't been able to progress with that. This bill addresses those. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I'll finish by just explaining that I think that this institutional partnership between the state and our amazing Huntsman Mental Health Institute, HMHI, provides us with an opportunity to really bend the curve for a population that deserves our care. Nobody in the world wants to leave our veterans behind, but the unfortunate reality is that we've got individuals who are hurting, who are suffering. They gave everything for our country. Many of them desperately desperately want to be better. They've done everything that has been asked of them. They served our country. They came home carrying deep, deep trauma. They've done their therapy. They've taken their medications. They've done everything we've asked. And the treatments for some of these folks simply is not working. This gives those individuals a possibility, a ray of hope, and hopefully a better tomorrow if we can get behind them and support this bill. And I'd ask for, and with that, Mr. Speaker, I'm open to questions.
Thank you, Representative Daly Provo. Further discussion to the bill, Representative Peck.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have concerns about this bill because while I love to honor veterans in any way possible and whenever, I feel like 2 million, maybe 4 million with matching and for psychedelic drug treatments is a really big thing to ask. I think we can care about our veterans without investing 2 million state dollars into psychedelics. And so I would just caution members of the body to vote against this bill.
Thank you, Representative Peck. Further discussion to the bill, Representative Hansen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the sponsor yield to a question?
Representative Daly Provo, will you yield to a question?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the is the Huntsman Mental Health Institute the only institution in Utah that does that? That can do this?
That has the capacity to do this? No, but it is the partnership that we have chosen as the most meaningful, that has the most current expertise in this.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Representative Hansen. Further discussion to the bill, Representative Burton.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker. I'm probably the last person that you would think would stand up and say that I support this bill, but I do. And the reason that I do is I've had a lot of my soldiers in the past many years who, let's say, have had 10 deployments in a 20-year period and are so troubled by the PTSD symptoms that nothing in the traditional program of treatment offered either through the military or the VA has been effective. And many of them have had to go down to Mexico and use these substances illegally. And we've seen really positive results from them. So for the fact that it would be handled in a clinical setting, I'm supportive of this for those really difficult cases who aren't getting relief in any other way. So I appreciate your support for this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Burton. Further discussion to the bill. Seeing none, back to Representative Daly Provo for summation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I really appreciate any supportive thoughts and comments. I know that I've had a lot of conversations with many colleagues, and I can't stress enough how important it is to recognize that psychedelics are an option for people experiencing treatment-resistant PTSD, for people who are at the end of their rope, that they feel like it's this or suicide. And we just want to make sure that we give these people an option that isn't leaving the country, that isn't expending that expense, that unnecessary expense, that are receiving these medications outside of a clinical setting, with or without, oftentimes without the underlying therapy that actually has potential for making the treatment more effective and more sustainable long-term. I want to reiterate, veterans who are suffering, who are on the edge of taking their own lives, have absolutely nothing left, and they are begging for any opportunity to get some answers about what we can do better. And this is one thing that I believe that we can do better, but if we don't try, we're never going to know. And we're leaving people to the whims of other opportunities, or at worst, opportunities outside of the country, which is not a good mechanism for obtaining health care. And so I think that I know that we can do better by these veterans who are desperate, who are clinging to life. I've spoken with dozens of them. I hope that you've heard from some of them. We have a good opportunity to move needle in mental health care, and particularly with this population who is crying for help. I would urge the body's support. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Daley Provo. Voting now on first substitute HB 390.